I was invited by Charlie Phillips at The Guardian to come and meet with Freddie because he was looking for a filmmaker to tell his story. And as soon as I met Freddie, I had so many questions. I just thought that this was a story I really wanted to tell. And it made me think a lot about what it was like for me when I had my baby. You know, I had a daughter 15 years ago, and I just thought it was too intriguing. Mm-hmm. Tell them about what that was like for you, because you went out and looked.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to document this process, but then quite quickly after sort of deciding that, thought I don't know if I want to do it myself, because if I did, it sort of wouldn't be on the scale that I thought would make it worthwhile in terms of the kind of emotional and time commitment that it would involve. And I'm a journalist, but I'm not a filmmaker, so I wanted someone who really knew what they were doing. And so I went to Charlie and we spoke to maybe half a dozen filmmakers, and meeting Jeanie, I think it was like halfway through that process, and something just immediately clicked. And yeah, she kind of summed up everything that I'd said very quickly and said it back to me. And it was like, well, yeah, you get this. And like, it'll be a proper film. I came out at university, realized I was trans, and came out. So I was about 22, 23 at the time. Then I'd always known that I'd wanted to have a family one day. Spent many years thinking, firstly, that if I transitioned, it would mean I couldn't carry a baby myself. That's kind of what you're told when you start to transition, certainly in the UK. And so I made peace with that for a while, but then the idea was still there. The desire to be a parent was still there. I think I came across a YouTube video that was by a trans guy who was either probably pregnant or had just had a baby. And so that was really incredible to see, and like quite changed everything really, because I've been told that wasn't possible. And then spent another few years thinking, can I do that? Like I came out of university, but then started my medical transition a couple of years after that. And that was such a great experience for me. So the right thing for me to do, that it was hard to imagine pausing that or stopping that. And I didn't really know what it would involve. And eventually I lived quite abroad for a short amount of time for work, and being so far away from home was useful. It's kind of a cliche, but like being so far away from home really kind of showed me what I wanted and what I needed to go home and start a family. And so yeah, I knew that I would have family support, and I had lots of friends. And by that point, I think I heard another couple of stories of trans men carrying their own babies in various setups, like either by themselves or with a partner for various reasons, and blah, blah. And I knew I had a supportive doctor. And somewhere in that whole process, like I said, I'm a journalist, so I realized I think I could like do a good job of putting a team together that would tell this story in a way that would feel, all the things that trans stories usually aren't when they're told on a large scale, either for TV or for film, that it would be respectful and it would be real and it would be moving and relatable, and like that it would do a good job of showing people that are completely unfamiliar with these ideas that actually, that's not a completely mind-blowing thing. It's something I can relate to on this level or that level or whatever it is. And so those processes started around the same time, but they were always quite separate in my mind. My priority was starting a family and doing that safely and healthily. And I knew that I could trust that would happen with my input and with my consent at all times, but also somewhat separately and being led by a person who I absolutely trusted and felt like, and I don't really know why I felt, it was just a feeling of like, I think this is going to be okay.